Hi everybody, and welcome to Self-Help FAQ, the YouTube channel. I'm Barb, your host, and today we're digging into one of the biggest blocks to mental clarity and moving forward in your life's work: toxic people. Toxic people don't just ruin your day, they can actually plant what I call brainworms, which I'm going to be telling you about later. The brainworms can rob you of confidence and keep you stuck. So in this video, we're going to look at the different types of toxic people, how their words create brainworms, and the science of what looping thoughts can do to your brain, why brain chemistry can make toxic relationships hard to leave, and finally, how to break the cycle so you can protect your clarity and your purpose and move forward in your life. Toxic people come in several varieties. Do any of the following sound familiar to you? First up is the critic. It's like the boss who always finds fault but never gives praise, or a family member who only comments when you mess up, never when you succeed. I once turned in a project I worked so hard on, only to hear, "Well, you missed this one small thing." That erased all my pride in the work. So critics plant the negative thought of "I'm never good enough." Then you have the drama magnet. For example, a friend who calls at midnight because their life is always in crisis. You want to help, but soon you realize you're drowning in their chaos. I had a roommate when I was in college who seemed to thrive on emergencies. By the end of the semester, I was so drained from their emergencies, I'd stopped working on my own goals. So drama magnets plant the negative thought of "I can't focus on myself. Other people's problems always come first." Or how about the controller? For example, they may say, "If you really loved me, you'd do this for me." Or "After everything I've done for you, you owe me." They twist your emotions into guilt and obligation. They're the ones pulling the strings. So they plant the negative feelings of guilt and making you question whether your needs matter at all. Next, we have the gaslighter. Gaslighters don't just criticize, they rewrite your reality. You remember an argument, but they insist it never happened. Or they hurt you, and then they say, "Oh, you're just being too sensitive." If you missed my gaslighting video, I'll link to that, because I go deeper into how gaslighters distort your reality. A friend once told me she confronted her partner about something cruel he said. His response? That it never happened. She started wondering if she were the crazy one. So gaslighters plant the negative thought of "I can't trust my own memory or judgment." And then there's the energy vampire. You meet them for coffee, and after 15 minutes you feel drained. Your shoulders slump, your energy's gone, even though nothing happened directly to you. I once worked with someone who could walk into a room, and within about 5 minutes, everybody's energy dropped. So energy vampires plant the negative thought of "I don't have enough energy left for myself." So what happens after an encounter with one of these people? Well, you go home and their words start playing and replaying. The criticism, the denial, the guilt trip, and the chaos. You start thinking, maybe they're right. Maybe I am lazy, or whatever they said about you. Maybe I really am the problem. That's what I call a brainworm. What are brainworms? Well, think about an earworm. That's when a song gets stuck in your head and it keeps replaying over and over. Can't quite get it to stop. Well, a brainworm is the same thing, but instead of a song, it's a toxic thought. It's someone else's negativity looping in your mind, and the more you let it loop, the stronger it becomes. But here's the thing. Brainworms aren't just a figure of speech. They actually change how your brain works. Here's how. So this is a lawn sculpture someone did of a neuron and it's supposed to represent maybe a brain neuron. So every time you replay a toxic message in your mind, the same neurons fire together. And in neuroscience, they say neurons that fire together wire together. So over time, the brain builds a groove, a well-worn path, so your thoughts default back there automatically. So like a scratched record, the needle skips back to the same spot every time. So you have a default mode network, or a DMN, and this is your brain's autopilot, the network that runs when your mind wanders. In a healthy brain, it helps with reflection. But with brainworms, or negative thoughts that loop, the DMN goes into overdrive. That's when you get stuck ruminating, spiraling, replaying toxic words over and over. So here's an article I found at verywellhealth.com called What is Cortisol, a Key Stress Hormone, and What It Does. So it has a nice image here of the stress response system. I'm going to bring that up a little and focus in a little. So negative loops in your brain also fire up your stress system. Cortisol floods your brain, which shrinks the hippocampus, which is your memory center, and it weakens the prefrontal cortex, which is for decision-making and focus. That's why brainworms don't just hurt emotionally. They cause brain fog, poor focus, and forgetfulness. And again, you can find this at verywellhealth.com. What is cortisol? And this is from Getty Images, from TTSZ. So here's the big question. If toxic people feel so bad, why do people stay in those relationships? The answer is often oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Let's study that. So oxytocin helps mothers bond with babies, partners bond with each other, and friends feel connected. But in toxic relationships, oxytocin becomes a trap. You get criticized or gaslit, and your cortisol spikes. Then the same person shows you affection, oxytocin floods in, and it feels like relief. Your brain says, see, they care, stay. So you get a high, and then it drops when you get abused. And then when they offer you love again, you feel high again. It's like dopamine hits. It's very difficult to break from those. So the cycle of stress and relief hooks you, and that's why people say, I know he hurts me, but I love him. It's not just emotion, it's biochemistry pulling the strings. So the good news is brainworms aren't permanent. You can rewire your brain, override the toxic loops, and reclaim your clarity. Here are a few ways you can do that. First, you need to set boundaries. Boundaries aren't walls. They're clarity about what you will and won't allow. If you want to go deeper about boundaries, I explain this in my boundaries video, which I'll link here for you. Second, you want to name the brainworm. When that looping thought pops up, call it out. That's not my truth. That's a brainworm. Naming it breaks its hold. And third, you want to reframe the thought. Write down the brainworm and replace it with the truth. For example, if they said, I'm lazy, your new groove is, I'm consistent in making progress at my pace. Number 4, get positive input. Surround yourself with encouragers. Every kind word you let in builds new neural pathways to compete with the toxic ones. Next, practice mindfulness. Meditation and breath work calm the default mode network, or the looping thoughts, giving you distance from brainworms. Number 6, get some healthy oxytocin. Bond with people who are safe. Hug a friend. Spend time and hug your pet. Lean on family. You still get the oxytocin, but without the abuse cycle. So in the end, toxic people can't steal your life's work unless you let them. Brainworms only survive if you keep replaying them. So you have to block the toxic, protect your purpose, and rewire your brain. Feed your brain the truth. So comment below, have you ever had a brainworm, a toxic thought that kept looping in your head? How did you get rid of it? And if this video helped you, please like and subscribe for more in my September series on clearing the blocks to your life's work. Next time I'll be talking about the inner struggles that could be keeping you from living your best life. See you next time, and have a great rest of your day.